It's showtime.
Breaking news from the bsnbeer news desk.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Beer Chaser. I am your host, Dale. With me today, I've got Tomas and B-Train. What's up, y'all?
What's going on? Who dat?
Yes. This is a great day. We've seen the Saints take care of business up in Indianapolis. The score, 38-27. Saints do their thing. How do you guys feel about this win, man? What's going on, Tomas? What you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that I'm happy to have a win.
Yes.
I'm happy to see what the potential of our offense could be, should be, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fairly happy, and the defense played well, even though we allowed 27 points. But they still, I thought, played well. And certainly good to see them have some time off the field since our offense stayed on the field.
Yes. Good points there. Train, what's your thoughts?
Well, first off, I'm washing down this dub with a beat-up pecan ale.
Yeah.
There we go. Open it. There we go. I think it wasn't as great as other victories we've had against the Colts. We did beat them 62-7 once. We also beat them in a little game that we played at a neutral site in Miami. Forgot exactly which game that was, but that was a good one. But they needed this right now.
Yeah.
They needed to get that win. And did it in relative convincing fashion. Like Tomas said, there was a couple, little things they for sure need to clean up, but did feel comfortable towards the end. And I think the team needed that. And they're in a tie for first place right now in the NFC South. So, all good.
We saw the Falcons go down today, which is wonderful. It's always a good thing when the Falcons lose anyway. So,
Oh, of course.
But Carolina won their first game today.
Yeah, South Carolina win.
They're still so far back, but I don't, we only have 4 wins, so it's not like they're that far back, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not like they even have a first-round pick next year because they traded away to get Bryce Young. So,
yeah,
they could lose the rest of the season. I don't care. That's fine.
That's true.
Well, they chose the wrong quarterback, that's for sure. So.
Yes, thankfully for us.
Yeah, well, I mean that was the battle of Stroud and Young, and Young won the first victory there. So we'll
might be his last victory.
Maybe.
Hopefully so.
Yep.
Hopefully so, man. Oh, so yeah, Saints win 38-27. Let's go through the game here. Got some notes. Starting off in the first quarter, first possession by the Colts. I'm sorry, not the first possession. Second possession actually. The Colts scored a touchdown with a pass to Pittman, and this was after a flag on the kick. So they did like a field goal, and Breezy was called for covering
lining up over the center.
Yeah.
Questionable, very questionable.
Wasn't lining up over the center.
So, right, he was so yeah.
That was ridiculous, man. Come on.
Maybe inches.
Well, he was clearly to the left-hand side of the center. He was not on top of the center. So
yeah, and I get it if it ended up majorly impacting the play, but it didn't.
Right.
He did nothing wrong there. That was extremely questionable. First of several questionable calls by the Zebras in this game.
So many questionable calls there, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm really, really tired of the whole referees inconsistency thing. I'm sick of it. The next drive, the Saints get the ball. I'm sorry. When the Colts got the ball back, we got gashed by Jonathan Taylor, and I didn't like that we gave up so many yards early on the ground. What did you think early on about the run defense there, Tomas?
Well, I think it's typical of Dennis Allen's defense, right? at the beginning of the game, some things happen, and then they make their adjustments, and it sort of shuts down. But let's give the devil his due. Taylor is a top, running back in this league. It's not like he's some guy we never heard of, and but there was the usual arm tackling that doesn't work when you're playing against a big back. So, but that was just one run. I thought after that, we did okay in holding down the run. Still we have pressure on the quarterback, and then the run comes up, and it's like they don't push quite as hard. So, I'm not upset about that big run. I think that's just part of the game.
Yeah. For me, when I saw that run, I just had PTSD to the Marshawn Lynch run. Of course, I think every Saints fan probably feels that way, but Taylor's great. I mean, he averaged 7.9 yards per carry today, but that long was a 42-yard rush. So like you said, you take that one away, and he was still good, but nothing compared to what he was looking like early on.
Right.
Yep. This is a good little point here. Thoughts on Pete Carmichael basically taking Carr out of the game in the red zone. So we saw a lot of Taysom Hill in this game. Effective.
It worked.
Very effective. So that's my thoughts on taking him out.
Hard to argue with the results.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to argue with these results. Play calling I thought was a lot more creative. We had a lot better spacing out there. Good Lord, we don't see receivers running jumbled up in their routes out there. I thought it was good game plan by Pete Carmichael. What did you think there, Tomas?
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially what you said there at the beginning. From the beginning of the game, I thought the spacing was much better. Mm-hmm. You didn't have two receivers in the same spot off by a yard, so I thought that was much better. Yeah. And, Alvin looked better in this game. I thought, I said this earlier, if the offensive line is allowed to just block for running, mm-hmm. I think we have a much better chance of pushing the ball down the field. And I have to say this, Pete looks much better at tackle than at guard.
Yeah.
I don't know, where we went wrong. I mean, he was a tackle in college, and and I remember the first right when we drafted him, his first camp was in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were there. And that guy couldn't finish two gassers. I mean, we thought he was going to have a coronary, and so I was like, well, what a waste of a first round. But he really has looked the last 2 weeks. I thought he's really looked good at tackle.
Yeah. And
he's making some good blocks on that, sealing up that side. And that's what they were running today. So
yeah, they're running the ball left. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah. So
I still thought it was messed up the way they handled the pinning thing, but you're right. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with the results. And leading up to this point in the season, there was some drastic change needed, and they obviously see something that we don't. And putting Pete at left tackle is not the craziest idea in the world. So
for some reason it didn't work the first time around, and that's how we ended up drafting Penning and maybe putting him in at left guard or whatever. But it's working right now, and definitely keep him there. So.
Yeah.
Well, they kept him at left guard from the time they got him because we had Armstead out there.
Mm-hmm.
So they drafted him to put him at guard. But, perhaps that was a mistake from the beginning for them. Maybe these natural positions need to be tackled.
It didn't feel natural at first. I mean, he kind of grew into it, but it definitely seemed like he was more adept at playing tackle.
And Penning, again, remember, he sat out for so long.
Yep.
He's still like a rookie playing. And he thinks way too much. He thinks way too much.
Mm-hmm.
And he just needs to get out of his head and just let his natural ability take over, So it'll come in time. I think it'll come in time,
Yeah. As for me, I like the play calling today. I think that, we all know that Dennis Allen is like fighting for his job here, but there was a couple little trends that I saw that we'll probably talk a little more about later, but like some of the miscommunication things I think are still present, but it looks like they're getting better. apparently Shaheed is the guy you throw a long bomb to and not Olave. But
Yeah.
he's fast. But yeah, the running, and where they were running to and just when to put Taysom in the game and keeping him in the game when it was working. I mean, I thought the play calling looked really good today.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
So when the Saints get the ball, they respond with a good drive, and they use the play that I love, Alvin Kamara angle route out the backfield for a touchdown, 7-7 tied up. That's the play I was calling for previous weeks, and I was like, get the ball to AK.
Yes. He finished the way he finished that run or that play was just, that was great. He wanted that touchdown, and nothing's given right now. Like if he had gone down at the 1 yard line, who knows if this offense would have been able to punch it in? Probably, but like you take the points where you can get them.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I thought AK had a really good game today. I thought he played with a lot more energy, and on that play, when he kept his balance, it's so obvious that's the AK of like 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, he's back already now. Now we're looking at the real, Kamara running out there. So,
Yep, I agree.
Saints get called for pass interference on Lattimore. We lead the league in pass interference, and at that moment, it was like 11 pass interference calls on the season. Look, I know we talk about the refs being bad, everything like that, but at some point, isn't it some kind of technique issues that we should be looking at to maybe correct this thing?
To be honest with you, man, like I'm pretty sure that's the play you're referring to is the one where they were choking out Breezy or one of our defensive linemen, and it was just, I saw it a few times during the game and it wasn't called. So yeah, I mean, on the defensive pass interference, I'm sure some of that is discipline and technique and stuff, but it is really, really frustrating when they're never calling holding on our guys. But they'll call the defensive pass interference.
Yeah, there were, and I think that goes back to if their offensive line is grabbing the jerseys of our defensive players, that gives Minshew another second and a half back there. That's when the pass interference is going to take place.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't grab our defensive lineman, then Minshew's got to get rid of the ball. There's no PI. It's that extra second and a half that gets us in trouble. And I have to tell you, I mean, I don't know if it's so much technique. Like I say to you, I think it's just a question of timing. Just like they didn't call on that, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but on that last play where they, said there was an interception and they turned it around and called the right play.
Yeah.
Their defensive man never turned back to the ball. So it should have been pass interference in addition to that we caught the ball. So, so technique-wise, I mean, it seems to me that our defensive backfield is turning their head and looking at the ball. So, I don't necessarily think that it's a technique issue. So,
okay. So the Saints defense end up holding. They force a field goal. At that point, it's 10-7 Colts. And then Minshew was kind of limping off on this throwaway. It would have been nice to just see them finish the sack there. And that I saw that a few times today where we almost had the sack. He's running around, he's dancing and stuff. And if we could just finish the sack, it's a big play for the defense. They did make a few sacks, but we could have had more. What did you think about the defensive line there, Tomas?
I thought the line played well. Again, like I said, what we were just talking about. You're being held on just about every damn play. And so it makes it tough. And still, even with that, he had to run to the outside. There was no stepping up into the pocket. If you think about it, the center of our line, Sanders, man, he played a really good game. Yeah. Shepard too, and keeping that middle up. Mm-hmm. And look, Minshew's a good quarterback. He's got escapability out of that pocket, and that's what they expect the quarterback to do. So I thought our defensive line played well. On that particular play that you were talking about, he's lucky that ball didn't get intercepted or something else. He was trying to force a play that wasn't there. So
a bunch of near picks today.
Right. You got to take advantage of that kind of quarterback when they're back there trying to make something happen, and then they're gonna throw a dumb pass. And you got to make them pay for that.
Yeah.
The defensive line ended up with 2 sacks and one by Granderson, one by Nathan Shepard. We did have pressures for sure. You saw a sighting from Foskey. Cam Jordan chipped in with some pressure, but I just want to see some finishes. I want to see some actual sacks be produced there by the defensive line.
Yeah, and I knew that when he was limping away and they were looking at him on the sideline, not only did I know he was going to come back in, but that somehow he was going to look better than ever. That's just how this defense responds to, shall we say, injured quarterbacks. Yeah. Like, what's his name? Trevor Lawrence last week. That's just how it works.
Well, Trevor Lawrence wasn't really. They made it out to be much worse than what he wasn't. That was a head game they were playing with the Saints.
Of course.
So, but on this one he might have tweaked something. But hey, it's the game. Yeah. You play hurt.
He's gonna feel it tomorrow.
Oh yeah. They'll be soaking for the whole week.
Yeah.
So, but I think that you'll see. Dale. I think that you will see more sacks as Brzee gets better and better in the middle of the line.
Yeah.
As they play him more, not to take anything away from Shepard and
no, that's a good thing when you got multiple guys.
Yeah. A fresher guy and a young guy who really, he's way ahead of the curve as far as a rookie playing defensive line, in my opinion. So
we even got a Pro Bowl fullback playing defensive tackle out there.
I'm telling you. I'm liking that a lot. I have to tell you guys.
Yeah, I want to see Saunders catch a touchdown.
Oh man,
bad.
I need that.
I think it's in the playbook. Don't be surprised, Dale. It's coming.
That'll be awesome.
Against Atlanta would be really good.
Yeah, that's the thing you do when you're up like 42-7 against Atlanta, just to flex on them.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So we see Carr give up a fumble. The Colts recovered. He was sacked when trying to step up in the pocket. The Colts followed that up with a Zach Moss touchdown into the end zone, 16-7. Colts leading at this point.
Not a bright spot.
The turnovers, it is what it is, man. You can't turn the ball over. So now early on, we did see lots of targets for Mike Thomas, and this is in the second quarter. He had like 4 targets, so it became a real big part of the game plan here. I love seeing that, especially because he was kind of questionable. We heard late with the illness. I was kind of thinking maybe he might not play.
No, I was thinking this was like the Michael Jordan flu game. I knew you want to talk about head games, but honestly, still a shade of the 2019 Michael Thomas, but I still like what I'm seeing this year with him. He's still the guy that when times are tough and we're down and everything, he's just he's the go-to guy. He makes the play happen. He can still do it.
Yeah, he's got a big heart. And I can tell you, I've been down all week. So, it's something that's going around.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I can tell you, I don't know what the hell it is, but it zaps your energy. So if that's the same bug that they've been having all week long, I can understand why he was why some were thinking, hey, he may not play. But I have to tell you, I am so impressed this year with Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
He withstood all the bad stuff that came down the pike and how people didn't like him and all. God bless him, because as we said, he was the go-to guy in that second quarter, and he didn't miss anything. So
yep, he still got it.
We saw Taysom Hill with a 20-yard run to punch it in. Man. Really, really good run blocking. That made it 17-14 Colts. The only issue I would have is it wasn't considered a red zone touchdown, but I'm going to give it to him. Okay.
Yeah. That's fine. Well, hey, look, you can't have red zone problems if you just score from outside the red zone.
True. That's one of the red zone problems.
Did they say that was the longest run of the season for the Saints?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what they
that
said.
Was good.
Yeah. And that'll be my next jersey, by the way. I'm going to break down and get a Hill jersey now.
There you go. Man.
Oh, okay.
I'm debating who I was going to get this season.
Yeah.
And after today's game, I'm getting Hill.
That's a good choice. That's a good
go.
choice. Hey, he's been with the team for long enough now. You know he's going to retire with the Saints.
Yes.
Hopefully he's still got a while left, but man, just a great player.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
We saw.
How's
Carr
that
here.
beer, by the way, B-Train?
Man, I love this one. I had to get this in not in Louisiana, unfortunately, but I drove down to Georgia a couple weeks ago and where they sell a Beta and was able to stock up on it. This time of year, I always love the pecan one, just in the fall leading up to Thanksgiving.
Cool.
Really, really good.
They just have a place here that just got the Nutter Butter or whatever it is.
I still haven't seen that. I want that one.
Yeah. Well,
Someone needs
I've
to shit
been
me about
alcohol free the whole week, so I'm not drinking beer now because of this stupid whatever it is that I got here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
You know, taking all my supplements and Advil, whatever the hell else I don't want to pass out. But yeah, that Nutter Butter I'm going to try. I'll let you guys know how it is.
Yeah, that'll be nice when you heal up, man.
Yeah.
That's
Like
a stout,
tomorrow.
right? There you go.
I heard. Yeah.
Is that one a stout?
Yeah, it's a golden. They say it's a white
Ooh.
stout.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good combo right there, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping it'll be like the one I used to drink out of Cincinnati. Ryan guys used to make something called Penguin, and it was a white stout. Really good.
Oh, interesting.
Really good.
I love me a good stout every now and then.
All the time.
Oh,
I'm stout all the time. 24/7, 365. You know, I'm stout. Yeah. As they used to say to me, Tomas, what motor oil are you drinking today?
Oh, you like the porters too?
that's funny.
You like the porters too, right, Thomas?
Oh yeah, I'll drink a porter or even
Yeah.
a brown ale if you know, and a good lager. I'm good with a good lager.
There you
The
go.
only thing I
Yeah.
don't drink, IPAs.
Okay.
Brothers, if I want to bite on a pine cone, I'll go walk in the forest in Mississippi and grab me a hunk of a pine. You know
I
what
hope
I'm saying?
Craig's listening. I hope Craig's listening right now. He needs to hear this.
Man, IPAs, dude, you know,
I-
there used to be a guy who his
Yeah.
name was Yule Gibbons,
Mhm.
and he used to say, "Pine trees, some parts are edible." Well, you know what? That's how they found the IPA. You know? Some parts are edible. No
That
thank
is
you.
what they taste like.
Yeah.
I got to be in the mood for it, but I'm not usually a fan myself.
No thank you. No thank you.
Yep. All right, we saw Carr hit a deep pass to Shaheed. That was the theme of the day.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was only three receptions for 150 yards.
yeah.
It's crazy.
On the money for sure.
Yeah,
But that was the longest play of the Saints year, hitting that deep pass to Shaheed. We have 21-17 Saints. Definitely offense clicking.
Yep.
Man, I'm really hoping this is not just a fluke. I want to see more of this. This is so good.
well, whatever we were doing against the Patriots, whatever we were doing today, let's just keep doing that. Is that too much to ask for? Let's just keep it going, you know? Come on.
Well, I would say
Let's keep
today's
doing
game was better than the Patriots because the Patriots were just when we played them,
it. Yeah.
they were just an awful team. I mean, anything would have worked.
Oh, yeah. They were
Today-
talking about firing Bill Belichick the next day.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, I think the Colts defense is a good defense, even though their big star was banged up. He's still playing. So I think we're better now offensively. I think the communication is better. Now, if we can just teach Olave, like Shaheed, turn on the retros when you're ready to go out there for a pass and don't give up on it, you know? Because, and at least from my perspective, on those ones that were long that he didn't catch, he sort of turned off 5 yards before he should have, you know? Whereas Shaheed turns it up even more to go get the ball. So, you know, who can really play with this front line?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, it's not great, but it's worse than the Archie Manning. No, I think we've seen worse.
This
I
is
mean,
the best offensive line performance we've seen so far.
yeah.
this
I
year.
mean, look, I'm going to keep reminding people 2 years ago at that Miami game, we were suiting up guys that signed with the team that morning.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yes, I'm sorry. It can get worse.
Yeah.
We've seen worse for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually impressed with Garcia's play.
Yeah.
Really,
Pretty
you
good,
know,
yeah.
really.
Because I never thought that he could start like that. And I think he's, and like I said, I mean, I'm really impressed with Pete at the tackle position. I'm like, man, you know, so
We spent too
I
much
would
time.
disagree with that statement about it being the worst offensive
Yeah.
line. You know,
We spent too much time messing around with Hurst.
well,
Good backup.
Yeah,
I mean, I think this is
Yeah.
the problem. If I'm going to be truthful, you know, we have backup players, right? We have really good offensive line backup players. Now, we're forced to play some of them as starting players, and they're doing a good job. But, you know, these aren't the guys, you know, that we had in Drew's prime, you know? Those were all starting players. I don't care that, they're all first-round draft choice. It doesn't matter, you know? So
We got spoiled.
yeah. I mean, that's the bottom line, because when Drew was at his peak, our offensive line was at its peak.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, I'm sorry, we don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback, and we don't have, you know, all-stars on the offensive line.
Multiple Hall of Fame O-line players too, like Jari
Yeah.
Evans. I mean, some of those guys are going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Nix, Evans,
Yep.
Armstead when he's healthy. I mean, you know, what's his name? The senator we got from Seattle.
Unger was
Unger.
great, and
Yeah.
even Zach Streif was good for many years.
You know, so you can't compare those guys to these guys. You know, these are some good players. They're not great, but I'm telling you, if these were our guys sitting on the bench and getting ready to come in, if you needed them, man, that would be a heck of a, you know, offensive line depth wise. You know?
Yeah.
So I disagree with that statement that the guy said. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So getting to the end of the first half, the Colts kick a field goal, and it's 21-20 Saints at the end of the half. So when we get to the second half, the first note I have is about the Olave drop on this wide open looking touchdown that he had. But then Carr followed it up with a high pass to Olave.
Wait. Was that pass really that high? Did you keep watching the
high.
replays of it? I mean, it was high, but I don't know. Again, did Olave jump too soon? Did he give up on the ball? See, that's what I'm talking about. When I watch Shaheed, he don't give up on anything, right? Michael Thomas doesn't give up on anything. You know, to me, it seems like Olave is like, hey, you know, I screwed up on that last play. I don't know. And, you know, you can't drag around like that.
What's weird is that Olave last year in his rookie year, I thought he looked really, really good. And even still this year, like he's shown that he can be really good, but there's just something going on there between
at times.
It's something going on between him and Carr. But it's funny because Carr seems to have figured it out with the other players. It's just him and Olave are not on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's possible that they just don't see eye to eye, and you know, maybe something needs to be done, you know, but you know, we'll get to that later on for sure. But yeah, this is consecutive weeks, you know, where we see this kind of thing. I just want my first round pick to play like first round pick at all times. I want him to be the best wide receiver in that class. It just doesn't look that way right now. So
we know he can do it because he did it last year. Last year he looked really good.
Yep.
But just remember, as we always say, Dale, just because you're picked in the first round doesn't mean that you're going to be better than somebody else. You know, Shaheed was not picked in the first round.
Shaheed was undrafted.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And he looks great. I mean, if you redrafted right now, I'm sure someone would draft him pretty high.
I mean, knowing now, if they knew then, they know now,
yeah, of course,
sure, you know.
Yep. So then the Colts get the ball. Zach Moss, he does break a long run. However, Adebo does come up with an interception that kills that drive.
Timely.
Yes, really.
Yeah.
What did you think about Adebo's game today, Tomas?
I thought he played a good game. I mean, I really, you know, all that talk, if you remember in the offseason about how Taylor might beat him out,
right?
You know, and so forth. I just think and I think you're looking at a man who now is healthy. And I think that when he is healthy, and I'm going to say this, I think he's at the same point that we have with our all-star defensive back. You know, I really think that Lattimore, you know, he could be just as good as Lattimore. We could have two outstanding cornerbacks that people
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't know which way to throw. When he's healthy, which we saw today, Now that's not to take anything away from Alante Taylor. I mean, I think he's a good position player.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I don't know. Is he good enough to play the slot? That's a tough position to play.
Right.
Well, I think he's looked pretty good. I think they've kind of figured it out. I think putting Adebo outside and then putting Taylor in the slot seems to maximize their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think they both look really good in those roles.
Yeah. But I think Taylor could even be better as he continues to learn about the slot. I don't think he's really, at that point at the slot, as opposed to how Adebo and Lattimore are at the corners.
Well, and because Taylor wasn't drafted to be a slot guy.
Right.
No,
he's excelling, I think, in a role that's probably not natural for him.
Yes. He's getting there. He's getting there. But Adebo, there's no doubt that dude can play corner.
Yeah.
And he's not scared. He'll get right up in the guy's face on the line. I love our man-on-man coverage. I think it's outstanding defensive play.
Yeah, secondary I think looks great. I think our weakness on defense is the line, unfortunately. I mean, they have some good players there, but you've got some like Cameron Jordan, who I think is amazing, and I love him, and I want him to play for New Orleans as long as he can. But it's hard to say that he hasn't missed a step. Over the years. Yeah.
I agree with that. That. But when we get to say our player on defense, I'll mention somebody on defense that I think was outstanding today.
And a couple of points here, I think we're going to talk about that, Tomas.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
AK scored a touchdown on a draw play, and that made it 28-20 Saints. Again, creativity, because when you're that's a good way to balance out the pass rush. You can hit him with a quick draw like that, and AK made him pay for it.
Yep.
So I love the fact that Pete Carmichael's mixing it up. He's kind of getting back to his roots, I think.
That was good. Taking advantage of the strengths of your players.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what I said earlier, man, just get in the huddle and tell the offensive line, it's your turn. Just push these guys off the damn line and let's go.
And
Alvin just needs a little crack to go, man.
Yeah, and they looked good with that today. And I think that was supposedly one of the issues with Penning earlier on was some of those run plays. But another one too, not just Kamara, but I thought Jamal Williams looked really good. It looks like he's finally back to being healthy again.
Yeah, he got taken off of the pitch count there. He got 6 carries, 30 yards along with 10. So good to see him back out there contributing for sure.
Yep.
So we saw some pressure from the defense, and Minshew turns it over. And this is the play where we saw Foskey come in and make the hit. But it went under review. They reversed the call, and the Colts get the ball back. But Foskey sighting, I'm all for it. Give me some Foskey making plays, please.
I'd like to see some more of them. But hopefully he's hitting his stride. When I looked at the review, I was like, they're going to reverse that, unfortunately. But it was good to see, the defense getting some momentum, getting some pressure, all that.
Yeah. Now, Jordan Howden broke up the pass to force that punt.
That was good.
And I know you want to talk about him, Tomas, so go right ahead.
Man, I'm so impressed with this young man. I was keeping an eye on him during the game because I knew we were going to talk after the game. And I was like, man, this dude could play.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any drop-off ready when May is not in the game. At this point, I don't see a drop-off,
So that was my question too. Like, is this like a coach decision to start Howden over May, or what was the deal with that?
Man,
that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, I didn't even see a difference,
Mm-hmm.
And I like May. Don't get me wrong.
He's good.
But that young man today, I thought he played outstanding today.
Yeah, for a rookie to be playing at that level where there was no noticeable drop off from a great player like May. I mean, that's a big testament to how good he is.
Yeah. And like I was saying about Penning, if you watch Howden, he's not thinking, double thinking, triple thinking, should I cover over this side? Should I do this side? No, man, he's just on the spot. He knows where he has to do and the hits. Man, when he hits somebody, that's I miss the good old days with the good old Tommy Myers kinds of hits. You know what I'm talking about? and I know he can't do that today,
Right.
but at least he wraps the guy up and hits him to the ground. So I'm all good with that. But that's my defensive guy, buddy, right there.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. So Saints get the ball back, and stop me if you heard this one, but a big play to Shaheed. And this is the one where he's on the ground. Defender kind of strips the ball away. They review it. Saints get the ball because Ty goes to receiver, and we get the call there. So another big play by Shaheed, Thomas.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think the tie goes to the runner only in baseball. I don't think the tie goes to the receiver in football. But on every replay you see, he has control of the ball. His knee hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. The play
that is what they call it. So you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
The defender sold it.
Yes, absolutely. But you look at every angle they showed, and you can clearly see that he has both hands on the ball.
Yeah.
His knee hits the ground. They both hit the ground. So knee, shoulder, play's over. So
it happened so fast that, if you're a referee, I can understand why maybe in the moment they might say, oh, well, the defender ended up with the ball, so he has it. But you can't just take the ball from a dude after he's down and then pretend like you had it all along.
Right.
I mean, props for trying, but
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing I loved about that play is Shaheed really showed some good ball skills. He tracked the ball in the air, got himself in position to make that catch, and come down with it. So,
and look, that was Taysom Hill. Now that was a little underthrown, but I love the play call. You have to let him throw it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just to keep the defense honest. I mean, but not that it matters, because when the guy lines up behind center, who's going to stop him? Especially if you got Saunders freaking blocking for him as fullback. Nobody's stopping that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's the next thing I got here. Taysom Hill, TD, 35-20 Saints.
Sir.
Yeah, and that's when I thought about the whole Colin Saunders thing. Like, my goodness, I want this big dude to catch a touchdown.
Well, I think he's deserved it, but what I really like was that they tried that play a couple times, and he didn't quite get in, and I think we had a false start or something, and they got back to like the 1 yard line, and they let him do it again. And I was like, this is awesome. I love that they are putting Saunders in as a fullback.
Sticking with it. Yep.
Yeah. Great. Love it.
And I tell you what else I liked about it. I liked the spirit, because when they got through on the touchdown, Saunders was standing in the end zone. And he was like, yeah. So that to me tells me that the team is now coming more together rather than being, pointing fingers at your fault, my fault,
Right.
So that's something I think, and we need to make sure that when Taysom is in there, he does throw a pass, because otherwise they key on him,
Honest.
So I think the Sanders pass is coming. Now, I'm not going to be surprised at all, for the Sanders. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those jump pass kind of things either. You know what I'm talking about?
So are you specifically calling a Taysom to Saunders touchdown?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I look forward to that.
Absolutely.
I could see it like a little pop pass.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pretending like he's going to run it and then just stop for a second.
And then want to float right over the top of the
That'll be very satisfying.
I like it, Tomas. I can't wait till they call your play. I'm gonna do your prop.
Yeah, Tomas special. That's what we'll call it.
That's right. Tomas special. That's right. Yeah. So instead, when he goes up to the line here, they say Louis, like he did today. Instead, just go Tomas. All right, we got it. We know what the play's gonna be.
I hope other teams aren't listening to this, because then that's going to give it away.
That's right. So Minshew had lots of time scrambling around. He ended up finding a touchdown. He's finding the tight end open, scored a touchdown. So it's 35-27 Saints. This is again with him scrambling around. It just bothered me a lot. Like, let's get this fool on the ground, please.
I thought so too.
It's easier said than done,
Yep, it is.
I mean, truly, he has experience. He's been around. and he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's good.
you got, as I say, you have to give the devil his due. Now, in that particular play, I would tell you that there was an issue in the defensive backfield. That wasn't a good play on the defense.
Okay.
So not the line necessarily, but I thought they were kind of in the wrong place.
Do you think Minshew starts somewhere next year?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But I mean, he's a hell of a backup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I
if you
can
think
see
about
it.
Where would the Colts be if he wasn't there on that team?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see him being a starter, but it's kind of conditional because everything just depends on the situation. Like maybe there's a team whose starter goes down in the preseason. I could see him coming in and starting for a team, but I don't think he's necessarily going to be anyone's first choice.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think just like he's doing with the Colts, if some team, like for example, let's say Detroit, who's Detroit got as a backup to
Golf
to their starting quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. I don't know either.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you right there.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater.
No. They drafted the guy from Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think
It's
of his
Teddy
name.
though. Teddy's the backup.
Yeah, Teddy is back there too.
He's like number 55 or something weird, which I want to see him play just for the chaos of seeing a quarterback wear number 50 something.
Yeah, I think he got a different number now.
He changed his number. That was just when he first got there.
I don't know why they allowed that. They can't have a quarterback. Like it's not like he's Taysom Hill where he's technically something else. No, he is a quarterback, and they let him play with a number in the 50s.
Yep.
It's funny.
So now we're getting late in the game, and we got back-to-back pre-snap penalties for the Saints on offense. Now, one of them was bull. That's when they called the center with the false start because he moved the ball. What do you mean he moved the ball? Who else?
The center is the one that snaps the ball. That doesn't make any damn sense.
I mean, he does it every damn down.
Yeah.
Well, I think that when they do it, they just scoot it on the ground. He lifted it and pushed it forward. So I think that was the little thing that the refs like, oh, he lifted the ball.
It's not a false start. It's just a start. But that time he did it with a little style, a little flourish on it.
I agree, P-Train. I agree.
But then after those back-to-back penalties, Carr responds with what? He passed to Shaheed.
Yeah. You can't guard that. I mean, you got to have the safety on him way back deep or something because he's going to outrun everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, he really got to that defensive back that was on him because he didn't break to the outside; he broke to the inside.
Yeah.
And even Sanchez, who was doing the color on the game, called it out too. He said, "Oh, he's not supposed to break to the inside." And I'm like, "What do you mean? With that kind of speed, he can break the inside, outside. It doesn't make any difference."
Mm-hmm.
Get past everybody. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. So that was a great play. And the ball was right on the spot. That was a dime.
Perfect.
On the money.
That was smooth.
Yep. But I got to give Carr his props when it's due, for sure. So the Saints end the game with a groupie field goal that makes it 38-27. Thoughts about groupie?
Louisiana shrimp.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Little feller, Louisiana shrimp, getting it done.
He still looks like a middle school student playing out there. But hey, he comes out, he does his job. I'm good. I'm just hopeful that he's getting that experience and getting his head in the right place so that when it really is on the line, he can come in there and knock it through, So it's not the same thing when you're way ahead and you're just kicking a 3-pointer as opposed to you're losing by a point and you had to make this to win the game,
Yep.
So
it felt good to watch him ice the game, though,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm just surprised every kickoff that goes down into the end zone and out. I'm like, this little guy has got a leg that doesn't match his stature,
Mm-hmm.
They said that in the pregame he was hitting 60-yard field goals.
Yeah.
And you remember in the preseason, he almost made a 60-yarder too. So it's coming. Yeah, I don't know how a little guy like that has such a strong leg.
Technique. It's got to be. He's got an incredible grasp on technique. Because I just, he's smaller than me. I mean, I'm 6'1", 235. I stand next to him and he looked like, he's only So,
if he was playing in high school, I wouldn't question it. I would say, yeah, that's
right.
a high school kicker.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
but when he's out amongst those big trees,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how. What I always worry about is that because he's so small that they're going to block it, But
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter how tall he is. It's just how high he can kick it right off the bat.
Oh, that's it.
the trajectory. That's why I say
Yeah.
he must have a really good understanding of technique
Yeah.
in his style of kicking.
Mhm.
So,
all right. Well, it's time for player of the game. Tomas, let's start with you first. Who you got? Offense and defense.
Offense and defense?
Yeah.
Well, defense, I'm going to go with Howden. I really think he played an outstanding game back there. So, although it was close with Adebo, because I thought Adebo played a good game too.
Mm-hmm.
But for a rookie, I'm giving it to Howden. On offense, how could you go wrong? There can only be one guy, Taysom. Sorry.
Yeah.
When you look, he's got passing yards, he's got running yards, he scores TDs. This guy is a machine, So, and like I said, jersey number 7 coming right here.
There we go.
So,
Taysom with 1 catch, 14 yards, 9 rushes, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long of 20. That's good choice there. B-Train, who you got?
For offense, I can't argue with that. It was definitely a Taysom game. I think the announcers even said that. They said this is a Taysom game. He probably could have done even more damage too if he wanted.
Yeah.
But it's not taking anything away from some of these other honorable mentions like Shaheed and obviously Derek Carr looked great and Kamara had another strong game. But yeah, if I got to pick one, I'd say Taysom. And for defense, I'm going to go with one that just quietly gets the job done. Lattimore. And you don't always see those stats show up, but I think he had a defensive pass interference I don't necessarily agree with. But of course, I'm biased. He kind of picked a couple, at least once in there. Could have been a pick six. But yeah, Lattimore for defense.
Okay. For me on offense, I'm going to give it a tie, and that's going to be Carr and Shaheed. Y'all can split that. I thought y'all were really in sync. I hope you guys keep it up. And on defense, I thought about a Debo, but I'm gonna stick with Granderson. He's putting up sacks.
I got worried when he got hurt.
Yeah.
I'm glad he came back in.
Right.
Because he's big. Yeah.
Yeah. For real, man. Let's hope for some consistency this week coming up, because we can't just do a good game, bad game, good game, bad game. We need to get better. Consistency is the key. Yeah. Let's see if we can do it this week, man. So
momentum, even though Craig says that's not real, it's real.
Oh, it's real. I can bite it.
We need it.
Well, let's just say that maybe not momentum. How about let's say one success leads to another success.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like they say at Tulane, after every win, it's still just 1-0.
That's correct.
Every game is 1-0.
That's correct. There you go. And both teams, my Tulane team and my Raging Cajun team.
Yeah.
Came through this week.
Good weekend for Louisiana football. And LSU didn't lose.
LSU didn't lose. That's right.
That's right. Unfortunately, my other alma mater, UK, did lose.
Yeah.
And they had a chance to win that game, and they still couldn't do it. So
it's tough.
But, we'll see how it goes. Georgia, of course, rolling along.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
We'll see. The SEC, it's just lovely to watch them play.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us this week on the Beer Chaser. We appreciate everybody stopping in, chatting us up. We will see you guys again next week, and be on the lookout for the beer run coming real soon to you. So for that, Tomas, B-Train, I am Dale. Who that to you, baby?
Who that?
Remember to follow us on social media at bsnbeer Media. Also, smash the like button on YouTube and share with friends.